Okay, good morning, everyone. I want to call the Drainage District Board of Directors meeting to order. We'll start with a roll call to establish quorum.
Eddie Cantu, Precinct 2.
Everardo Villarreal, Precinct 3.
Richard Cortez, County Judge, and here is Commissioner Torres.
Ellie Torres, Precinct 4.
That constitutes a quorum. Would you please lead us in prayer today?
Thank you. We can all stand. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for blessing us with another beautiful day to serve. We ask you to watch over our county and our district family as we work for you. We come before you humbly knowing that we are dependent on your grace. We ask that you bless this board and provide them the wisdom and guidance to make the best decisions that reflect the needs of those we serve. We also lift up in prayer those who are in need, that they may find comfort and healing in you, O Lord. All this through Christ our Lord. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you. Do we have anybody sign up for open forum?
No, sir, not under drainage.
Okay, then we'll go to the approval of the consent agenda.
Yes, everything is in order. We recommend approval of consent
So
agenda.
moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item 5A.
Requesting approval to release easement right-of-way for the McAllen Lateral, Auburn Avenue, and authority of the chairman of the board to execute documents subject to final legal review.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item 6, requesting approval of supplemental agreement number 3 to the agreement for professional engineering services and work authorization number 1 for the Mile 11 North and FM 1015 2018 bond referendum project 22, contract CHCDD 1-19-045-07-01 with South Texas Infrastructure Group LLC to reflect the revised Exhibit D work schedule with an extended completion date of September 30th, 2024, subject to final legal review and in compliance with HB 1295.
Motion to approve. Second.
And that was items 6A.
6A.
We
that is
have a
correct.
motion and a second to approve. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
6B, requesting approval of supplemental agreement number 4 to the agreement for professional engineer services and supplemental agreement number 2 to work authorization number 2 for the Mid-Valley Airport 2018 bond referendum project number 19, contract HCDD 1-19-034-03-26 with LNG Consulting Engineers DBA LNG Engineering to reflect the revised Exhibit D work schedule with an extended completion date of October 1, 2025.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
6C, requesting approval and supplemental agreement number 5 to the professional engineering services agreement and work authorization number 1 for the project Fayetteville Drain 2018 bond referendum project 11B, contract CHCDD 1-19-039-05-21 with Tetsi Infrastructure Group to reflect the revised Exhibit D1 work schedule with an extended termination date of October 31, 2023.
Motion to approve?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
6D, number 1, requesting approval of amended and restated easement for parcel E4 as it is relates to the Jackson Drain and authority for the chairman of the board to execute documents.
Motion to approve?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Number 2, requesting approval for possession and use agreement between Maria Blanca Cruz and Hidalgo County Drainage District number 1 as it relates to parcel E5 of the Jackson Road Drain Project and authority for the Drainage District General Manager to execute documents.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. You want to take E through at least
Yes.
5?
We'll take those collectively. Number 1, approval of application for payment number 4 in the amount of $101,795.94 from RBM Contractors pertaining to the construction contract CHCDD 1-22-051-01-17. East Mercedes project engineer is Yvette Barrera. Everything's in order. Number 2, approval of application for payment number 3 in the amount of $117,819 from Science Brothers Construction pertaining to construction contract CHCDD 1-22-032A-08-18 FM 493 and Country Road project engineers is Sames. Number 3, approval of application for payment number 6 in the amount of $131,126 with 12 cents from Morewell LLC pertaining to construction contract C HCDD 1-22-024-07-26 for the J08 drain. Project engineer is Quintanilla Headley. Number 4, approval of application for payment number 11 in the amount of $147,889.31 from Gonzalez Engineering pertaining to the construction contract C HCDD 1-21-07-27. This is for the Mission McAllen Rado alternate phase 1. And number 5, approval of application for payment number 3 in the amount of $208,993.50 from Morwell pertaining to construction contract C HCDD 1-22-023-07-12 for the South Lateral Drain Structure. Project engineer was in-house Yvette Barrera. And lastly, number 6 is approval of invoice DD-22 in the amount of $6,797.31 from Hidalgo County Precinct Number 1 for equipment used for the fourth quarter of 2022. We recommend approval.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item number 7A is the Hidalgo County Drainage District Number 1 financial status update. Noe Hinojosa will be presenting this presentation.
Good morning. Noe Hinojosa for the record with the Strike Hinojosa and Company. I'm going to let Bobby Villarreal do this presentation for us. Thank you.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. Again, Bobby Vidal with Estrada Hinojosa. I think you have a packet in front of you that we distributed, outlining on slide 1 the outstanding debt, of course, of the Drainage District. As you can see right now, outstanding is about $240 million, and of course, the district got the drainage bond vote that got you guys about $195 million. What we have today is we have some. If you go to slide 2, it'll show you right now the current existing debt service as it exists in green. Right now, on an annual basis, you have a debt service of approximately $31 to $32 million for the next 2 or 3 years, and then in 25 it'll drop pretty pronounced, about $20 million, and can continue to drop from that point forward. If you notice on the INS tax rate, which is column G. Right now, the tax rate for the INS is 6.79%, and if you do nothing, and of course the voters have given you the authority to issue the debt, it'll start to drop to about 3.8 pennies, continue to go further down. So if you notice on slide 3, we've given 3 different scenarios. So the first one would be a $50 million first tranche, and so if you notice there on column C, on the issuance there, we have an assumed rate of about 4.71% interest with delivery in September of this year, October, that is. So if you notice, in that first year of payment, we have about $2.1 million in payment, followed by the second year, a larger payment, about $15 million, and that's to stabilize the tax rate and maintain that target tax rate on the furthest right where it has column G. If you notice in yellow, we're trying to maintain a target tax rate of 6.79 pennies. That was what was intended to the voters, not to have an increase in tax rate overall. And now, having said that, we're just going to show you, I guess, 3 different scenarios. So 50 is that one right there. If you go to the next slide, which is slide 4, the $60 million tranche, again, same concept, and again, a larger payment in the second year, and then stabilize going forward. And again, if you notice to the furthest right, we're trying to maintain that 6.79, and it continues to drop thereafter. So it's giving the flexibility to the district to maintain the tax rate for issuances further because you're going to need the rest of the tranches. Now I know that the district will probably be considering the FIF fund. Again, that hasn't come yet, so we're probably looking in the fall over the application process. But this gets you the first iteration of what you want to do, and again, it gives you the flexibility so that we can seek hopefully 0% funding for the FIF in the future. And again, sorry about that, but we have one more scenario for $75 million for a first tranche, and again, same scenarios. A larger payment in the second year, where it's about almost $16 million in the second year, and it continues to hit that target tax rate of about 6.79.
Where is your analysis of unused funds for prior issues? Did you give one?
On the Drainage District, I don't believe we have that, do we? I don't.
Well, we need to provide it now, you have it. About how much is it? Unused funds of prior issuance.
Unencumbered or? Yeah, unencumbered.
Unencumbered and encumbered.
So we have, 40 million?
Both combined, unencumbered and encumbered? So the reason I ask this question is because you have a limited capacity to produce. So if you haven't used 40 million, and we're gonna give you the minimum amount they're asking, another 50 million, do you have the capacity to pay it on a timely basis? In other words, do you have projects ready to go where you need these funds?
Yes.
That's the information we need to determine whether you need 50 million, 60 million, 75 million, and I don't see that information here.
This is not an action item, Judge. This is just an informative item. And Raul Cecil and I spoke due to a personal matter that I have on the 24th. Your next meeting is on the 25th. He's going to bring us a list of all the projects you're
Okay.
talking about. So at that time, we'll have a list of all the
So
projects.
this is only for information?
It's
there's
only
no action.
information. It's not
Okay.
it's not an action item.
That, I trust we'll get that information
Yeah,
next time.
but if we wanted to, and thank you for permitting us to come before this 25th meeting, but basically, the objective here was to share with you, from a debt perspective, if you do borrow the money, the objective is to preserve the tax rate as it currently states. If you look at the numbers runs, the property values for the district went up another 12%. So you're gonna have a tax reduction. What we wanna do is preserve the tax rate at the 6.79 cents, so that when you look at page 6, on page 6, you'll see how we're gonna hopefully, as Bobby mentioned, as the Water Development Board comes up with new programs where you may get 0% rates or subsidized rates, we're ready to pull the plug on the borrowing side. Now, what's important to all of us is that they spend the money within 3 years, the projects are ready, shovel-ready for that matter, and I talked to the staff, we've been talking to staff for the last 2 or 3 months, where they're basically bringing us a list of all the projects they have.
Okay, now, you've explained it. To me, this is just information only.
Perfect.
We'll get that information when
You
we're
will.
ready to make the final decision. Okay, I got it.
All right. So the objective is that, just to share with you that if you do proceed, we're gonna try to get to the market with this loan on or about the last week of August. So, on the 24th or the 25th meeting, Mr. Cecil will come to you, tell you, here are the projects. Probably it's gonna be about $60 million loan, and then at that time, we'll pull the plug and we'll start talking to rating agencies and bring the credit to pricing on the last week of August. That was basically the objective today.
In the last 6 months or 4 months, what's been the fluctuation in interest rates and más o menos?
That's an
Half a
excellent question.
point or a point?
Yeah, we're talking to the judge yesterday, and it's just a hit and miss. There's some weeks where, if you're a market player out there, the rates that we're using here is like 4 and change, 471. You should be getting a rate of 100 basis points less than that 471. Yesterday, we priced Laredo ISD, Taylor ISD in Houston, and the rates are coming better. But the week prior, it was all over the place. You pick up Bloomberg or anything, Wall Street Journal, you'll see how the Federal Reserve Board members are mentioning we need rates to be higher than what they're today. But when you look at interest rates, they're not looking at the back end of the yield curve. It's the front end of the yield curve where rates are higher.
Is there a way to track the pipeline that's coming in?
Yes, we do. We track the pipeline. So a lot of the supply and demand. So like last week, we had because it was a short week, July 4th week, we had a supply of about 2.3 billion. This week was about 5.7 billion nationally. So statewide, when you look at what we've done since January 1st, we're probably about 20% higher, 15% higher than previous years. But a lot of it had to do with one big financing. Remember that Uri Freeze project? So that was a $3.5 billion financing, and that spiked the issuance. But when you come to the market, your competition is going to be school districts. A lot of school districts approved their bond referendums last November, and they're going to be coming before Labor Day. And typically, the next meeting, we're going to talk about COs and the county debt. typically rates are lower before Labor Day than after Labor Day. So we're gonna try to beat, hopefully, Labor Day. And of course, hopefully I'm right, because if we do the COs back in the back part of September, we just don't know. It's a crapshoot. So going back to your question, 1 week is hot, 1 week is not.
You're saying a point.
Hmm?
But you're saying about a point in difference? In
Yes,
fluctuation?
right now, from what we're using for your benefit, we're about 100 basis points, 1 full percentage point. Well, I know that, but I think it's 100. So my guys are telling me 60 basis points. I think it's a little higher than that.
The young guys are always smarter than the older guys.
No question. We just have, I don't know why we're here, Judge. But anyway.
Judge, I have a quick comment. You asked about the unused portion of some of the bond, and I think that some of that was intentional, because when we placed our last tranche for the drainage district, we were trying to take advantage of the market rates as they were, which were very, very low. And we did some analysis as to whether we were going to pause or at least ask for half of the tranche and then maybe place the other half a year later. But knowing that interest rates were probably going to go up, at the time, we basically said, let's exhaust what's left and put it into this tranche and take advantage of low interest rates. So some of that is pending because we have Texas Water Development Board, state guidelines, we had the TxDOT pending. So some of them were naturally delayed because of state regulations and their environmental processes and everything else that we were trying to leverage our tax dollars against state and federal grants. So that's some of the pause and why we have, bond projects that still haven't finished yet.
I wasn't complaining of the unused funds,
No.
but I think it's a factor to determine how much to borrow this next time.
No question, but I'm explaining why we have some of that balance, because we intentionally place them at a lower interest rate.
In fact, that's a very good point. One of the bonds, if you look at page 1 of your presentation, we did the 2019's, one of the two, the 21s, I'm sorry, 21As. We sold those on a taxable basis. It was about $50 million. And in 21, rates were really low, like I want to say like 240 or 2.25. So we did the tax exempt loan at a 2.25, something like that. And we had $50 million left that we didn't have to sell. But we made a recommendation to you, you better sell, let's just play it safe and do it on a taxable basis. So we priced the deal on a taxable basis for like 15 basis points higher than the tax exempt basis, loan then. Well, that taxable is not subject to IRS rules that say, or that dictate, you must spend the money, $3 million. So that was the call that we made, that you allowed us to make.
And part of the reason we did that was because we knew that the water reclamation project would not finish within the time frame that the IRS was going to allow.
Yeah.
So we intentionally sold these bonds at a different tax basis because we knew that we could not exhaust them within the time frame that the IRS was going to require.
That's the benefit of having a young member here, because I forgot about that. Thank you, sir.
And my point was to kind of expand upon what Commissioner Cantu is. So we try to be smart about the way we placed the last tranche in the 2018 bonds. So I guess to expand upon what Commissioner Cantu is saying is in the 2023 bonds, does it make sense to put a lower amount now, thinking that interest rates may go lower in the next year, where we can take advantage of lower interest rates and place higher amounts in the second tranche?
So we can do, we talked about 60. When we talked to Raul Cecine, he was mentioning we can do 60, that's a good spot. Can you do 50? Can you do 40? Can you do 20? You can do any number you want to. The objective here is to preserve your tax rate, because I think everyone on this board recognizes that drainage needs are still significant. And what we're trying to administer for you with the debt issuance is what's on page 6. And that page 6 pretty much shows you how this red line is your collection, right? And this is your debt. So your debt is like a water slide at Six Flags. It's just coming down. That's the way you want to be. When you look at the county's debt, it's not in this scenario. County's debt is more like it's flat at a certain higher level. Whereas this gives you a lot of opportunity to do a lot of things.
And one more point, so the 40 million that has been allocated already for projects are different projects than we're looking at with the new bond.
That's correct.
So whether they're, and they are allocated already, it's just the timing, right? You know, getting these engineers to complete their projects and so that we could go to construction. But the point being, and I agree with the judge, is we need to figure out how much, right? The 40, 50, or 75 million. And then also considering what Commissioner's talking about, interest rates, because we did get great interest rates a couple of years ago.
Well, in the state, this legislative session, they just approved what Bobby mentioned, the fifth, it's a program similar to the SIB loan at TxDOT, similar to other loans that we've done with TxDOT, where they're actually, with the Water Bond Board, I'm sorry, where they're actually gonna be buying your bonds at 0% rates. So you have $195 million approved by the voters with one condition: don't raise my taxes beyond a certain threshold. And we've been below. What you did in 18, what you told the voters in 18, you've actually been below. So now you come back in 21, or 22, I'm sorry, for another voter referendum, and you said the same thing: we're gonna stay below. And we're gonna try to take advantage of grants, 0% rates.
And that's a good point, because last time we got a $22 million on the fifth with zero interest. We got a $10 million grant. It was a $32 million project. It was actually 36. We had already spent 4. That's how the math worked on that. So
Yeah.
we saved a lot of interest money on that, as opposed to a 2.99 conservative estimate
That we
on,
had-
on
that we
your
had run.
spreadsheets.
Exactly,
So
yeah.
we took advantage of a big savings. You know, one thing that, Omar, you might want to mention to Mr. Sassine, and obviously your team as well, is we're going to talk about the fifth this coming cycle. And maybe individually our projects are not of that magnitude where we have a $32 million project, but maybe one of our larger main drain improvements where we have a $20-25 million project budget may make sense as a county to submit as a fifth project, where we can hopefully get some grant money and then place the remainder at a zero interest, where we all benefit by getting a zero interest loan and some grant money that maybe we can create new projects.
Yeah, I think all the regional projects we put on the 23 bond tabulated about 60 some million, and we're looking to have those complete. You know, those are the ones we're doing in-house, so we should have those by the end of the year ready to bid out. And Mr. Cecino will probably expand a little bit more, so there's some opportunities there to look at those larger regional projects for that.
As fifth project,
Yes,
as a fifth.
as a
pro-
fifth,
project.
yes.
I'm very proud of the work that the Drainage District has done. I think it's evident that it's worked. Well, I want the public to understand, because a lot of times they do an unsophisticated analysis of something that's very sophisticated, and that is that when we proceed on a project and we need to acquire easements, we just don't go to the property owner and say, I'm gonna take it over. There's a process, and there's a delay. So when you want to fix something, there's a process you have to go through that takes time. So even though you have the money to spend, you can't spend it until you're finished with the process. And that's the analysis that you all do and you all make to help us decide how much to borrow, because we have to match the money that we have with what we have the capacity to perform during the time limit. And that's the whole purpose of this discussion.
Yeah, and the benefit is.
And you do that well, by the way.
Yes, thank you. And for the 23 bond, we don't have that issue as much as far as right-of-way acquisition. So a lot of this is right-of-way that we already have. So those projects are, you're going to see those come out a lot sooner.
Yeah.
So
Thank you.
thank you. We'll continue on with the agenda.
Thank you.
Item 8, I'm going to take those collectively. Those are payments, 8-1 through 3. Item 8-1, payment and approval of invoice DD-22 in the amount of $49,722.16 from Hidalgo County Precinct 1 for equipment used various projects during the fourth quarter of 2022. Item 8-2, payment and approval of invoice number 07-09-2023 RD in the amount of $90,613.42 from Hidalgo County Precinct 4 for pay period 7 and 9, 2023 construction services. And lastly, 8-3, payment and approval of invoice number DD-22 in the amount of $8,534.26 from Hidalgo County Precinct 1 for RMA State Highway 365 outfall equipment used during the fourth quarter of 2022. We recommend approval.
So move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve items 8A, 1 through 3. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item 9A, requesting approval of closing documents for parcel 5 as it relates to State Highway 107 outfall project and authority for the chairman of the board to execute documents. Recommend approval.
So move.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
9B, requesting acceptance and approval of donation deed from San Jacinto Enterprises LLC as it relates to a 2.22 acre tract of land of Lot 12, Block 99 of Campaquas Addition Subdivision of Llano Grande Grant. Recommend approval.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
We do have one item,
Okay.
real estate in closed session.
Pursuant to subchapter D of chapter 551 of Texas Government Code, we'll need to retire to closed session to discuss items. We'll go on code section 551.072, .074, possibly .071. May I have a motion to do so?
Motion made.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. I have 9:56. Okay, we're back from closed session. I've got 2 minutes after 10. We do have one action item.
Yes, we recommend approval of items discussed in closed session.
A motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. I have a motion to adjourn.
Motion made.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
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 We are adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'd like to call the meeting of the Hidalgo County Commissioners Court to order. We'll start with a roll call to establish quorum.
Good morning, David Fuentes, Precinct 1.
Eddie Gunn through precinct 2.
Everardo Villarreal, precinct 3.
Ellie Torres, precinct 4.
Richard Cortez, County Judge, that constitutes a quorum. Today, we're always honored to have a veteran lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. We have Mario Avita. He served in the U.S. Marine Corps from August of 1999 to August of 2003. He reached the rank of corporal. Would you please lead us in today's pledge?
Yes, sir. Yes, he's on.
Is the camera on?
Yes, sir.
Oh, it is? Okay. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, for liberty and justice for all. Bro.
Thank you.
Thank you, Maya. Thank you for your service. Today, we're also going to be led in prayer by Dagoberto Soto. He's our new budget manager. Dago, welcome.
Thank you, Judge. It's an honor to be here and a double honor to lead everyone here in prayer. Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we gather before your presence today. I'm grateful for the privilege to come together for this Hidalgo County's open public meeting. Lord, we thank you for the freedom and opportunities we enjoy in this great nation, and we recognize the importance of this gathering as we come together to discuss matters that impact the welfare and progress of our county and its people. We humbly approach your throne, knowing that our understanding is limited and our efforts are imperfect. We acknowledge you as the ultimate source of wisdom, understanding, and guidance. As we embark in this session, help us to engage in respectful dialogue, cultivating an environment of mutual respect and cooperation. Grant discernment and insight to the discussions to be held this morning. May it be guided by your truth, and all agenda items listed today serve the common good. Father, we lift County Judge Richard Cortez, Commissioners David Fuentes, Eddie Cantu, Everardo Villarreal, Eli Torres, all elected officials and leaders in their administration of county affairs to your loving care, dear God. Grant them wisdom, courage, and integrity in the roles. May they lead with a deep sense of responsibility, passion, seeking and striving for the well-being of every individual, for justice and equality. Lastly, Lord, we entrust this meeting into your hands. May it be conducted with order and efficiency. May the decisions made here be grounded in truth, fairness, and compassion. And may the outcome of this gathering reflect your divine purpose and contribute to the flourishing of its constituents and citizens in our county, state, and country. We offer this prayer in the name of our Savior, Christ Jesus, our Lord. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you. Next, we have the approval of the consent agenda. Do we have any items to remove?
Judge, Commissioners, with your permission, with respect to the consent agenda, I'd like to pull consent agenda items 7A, 1 and 2.
Make a motion to approve the rest of the consent.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Judge, Commissioners, for the record, Commissioner Fuentes will be abstaining from any discussion and/or action related to consent agenda items 7A, 1 and 2. If you please have a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Let the record show Commissioner Fuentes abstained from voting on items 7A, 1 and 2.
Thank you.
Motion passes. Next item.
Judge, Commissioners, we have approval of awards and recognitions. Ms. Elizabeth?
Hi, good morning, Judge Commissioners. Item 5A, if I can have the Mental Health Coalition come up.
Could we have the people, here for the National Minority Mental Health Awareness?
Item 5A, proclamation recognizing July 2023 as National Minority Mental Health Awareness Month. Whereas mental health conditions do not discriminate based on race, color, gender, or identity, anyone can experience the challenges of mental illness regardless of their background. However, background and identity can make access to mental health treatment much more difficult. And established in 2008, National Minority Mental Health Month, also known as B.B. Moore Campbell National Minority Mental Health Awareness Month, is observed in July as a nationwide effort developed by Mental Health America. And whereas developed to honor the efforts of B.B. Moore Campbell, an American author, journalist, teacher, and mental health advocate who brought awareness to the unique mental health struggles of racial and ethnic minority communities through her personal experiences with a family member's mental illness. And whereas according to the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services in 2021, it is estimated that only 36% of Hispanic Latino adults with any mental illness were treated, compared to 52% of non-Hispanic white adults. And whereas, despite advances in research and health impartiality, disparities in mental health care continue to exist. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that the Hidalgo County Commissioners Court does hereby declare the month of July as National Minority Mental Health Awareness Month. Approved this 11th day of July.
Motion approved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. And thank you very much for your service and awareness to this tragic thing.
And we have Mr. Anthony Cantu with Region 1 to accept the proclamation.
Good morning. On behalf of the Coalition in Region 1, I, Anthony Cantu, would like to accept this proclamation as well. And we are looking to actually provide resources and, awareness to the communities, especially here in the Valley, to share a more brighter future, especially when it comes to mental health. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Need a picture? You ladies can imagine we're walking around here by doing Next, we have open forum. Do we have people sign up for open forum?
Yes, Judge Commissioners, we have two participants. The first participant is Ms. Janet Campos. Janet Campos?
Buenos días. Mi nombre es Janet Campos Martínez. ¿Verdad? Vengo de la colonia Eduardo 4. Soy miembro de la Lupe de la Unión del Pueblo. Vengo a darle las gracias por el alumbramiento público que se dio en mi colonia y darle las gracias por es importante por nuestros niños que se bajen en el bus, que ya están todas las lámparas completas y que ya tenemos la seguridad de que están bien ellos, que van a llegar a sus casas temprano y que los van a dejar en la noche, ya se va a mirar más. Y también quería darle las gracias por medio de mi colonia Eduardo 4 al precinto 3, al señor Ever Villarreal por todo su apoyo que nos brindó en la petición y que siempre estuvo ahí con nosotros a darnos apoyo sobre el alumbramiento público, que gracias a él se hizo el proyecto completo. Y pues darle las gracias a todos ustedes porque nos están brindando su atención, ¿verdad? De que se hizo todo y que tengan un bonito día, tarde y que Dios los bendiga por sus cosas que hacen, dejan de hacer sus cosas por oírnos a nosotros, a la comunidad. Muchas gracias.
Gracias. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Janet Campos. I'm from the Colonia Eduardo 4, and I am a member of Lupe, La Unión del Pueblo. I came to give thanks for finishing the public lights in my colonia and because this is a very important matter for the children that go out from the bus and now are going to be more safe even at night. We thank your corporation, to Precinct 3, the Commissioner Ever Villarreal, for all the support that we have been given in the petition, always with us. Thank you for helping us finish this project. Have a beautiful day, afternoon, and God bless.
Thank you. Judge Commissioners, the second presenter is Ms. Fern McClarity. Ms. Fern McClarity? Okay. That will conclude our open forum.
Okay, next item is 7A, District Courts.
Yes, I believe we have Ms. Judge Bencourt.
Yes, good morning, everyone. Judge, Commissioners, good morning, and thank you. This is on item 7A-91499, and item 7B, AI-91496. It is approved to submit a budget adjustment for the fiscal year 2023 Hidalgo County Juvenile Drug Court Program Grant, and item AI-91496 is approved to submit a budget adjustment for fiscal year 2023 Hidalgo County Lifelines Girls Juvenile Mental Health Court Program Grant.
Make a motion to approve 7A and B.
Second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. We're going to depart from the agenda items. We're going to move to 8B, the presentation by Burton McCumber and Longoria on our audit.
Judge, Commissioners, good morning. My name is Ricky Longoria. I'm a partner with BML, Burton McCumber and Longoria, and I'm here today with Luis Lopez, who's an audit manager with our firm as well. I think you've heard me say that auditors are historians. We tend to work in the past. Here we're really talking about the past, probably more so than we're accustomed to, because what I'm here to do is to present the December 31st, 2021 audit report. Completing the audit report for that particular year or this particular year was really quite a challenge. Really more so than any year for which we've been engaged to perform the audit. And there was a lot of reasons for that challenge. I'm not going to go into the specific details in that. I know Mr. Guerra was very involved in participating in weekly meetings as we tried to push this audit report out and trying to get information from the county and the agencies. I can summarize the challenges probably in one particular bucket, and that's just lack of personnel. There was turnover within the county auditor's office that really made it difficult for them to provide us not just the information to begin with, but accurate information. At some point, we did, when we ultimately got a trial balance, which is the basic numbers that we begin auditing, they themselves came up with over 500 different adjustments during the audit process. And if you can just imagine, say if you were in construction and you had agreed on a particular plan of construction and then change those plans 500 times, certainly that would lend to extend the audit, the construction longer than it should, and auditing is no different. With that said, and just giving really the importance of decision is based upon current information, not necessarily information from 2021, but I just want to acknowledge the completion of the audit. I want to acknowledge just a couple of things. That is that the numbers included within the audit report are fairly stated in all material respect. Acknowledge that our audit report letter is consistent with that of prior years. Ultimately, we got to the finish line. We were able to express an unmodified, if you will, and qualified, if you will, clean opinion with respect to the financial statements themselves. I will also state that the unreserved fund balance for that year actually grew some compared to the 2021 year, and represented a little over 15% of total expenditures, which is more or less where I think you all have strived to be over the past years. In the back of the audit report, and I always like to say this, we're talking an audit report that's over 450 pages long. So if you work your way to the back of the audit report itself, you will see our findings, comments, recommendations, and things of that nature. Certainly, given the timing, some of those you may see again with respect to the 22 audit, just because of the timing of the completion of the 2021 audit. But that really is my summary. I didn't know, just given the 2021 year, if you want me to go into any detail, I would gladly go into as much detail as you'd like. I will speak to the 22 audit for just a second. We have started that audit. We spoke to Mr. Guerra here about a week ago in terms of that timing. We are hopeful because now there is staff within the county, there is assistance within the county, that we're able to get the 2022 audit completed by September, early part of October, certainly striving to be sooner than that, but that's an update with respect to 2022. And so those are my comments today, Judge.
Mr. Longoria, I have a question.
Sure.
Were any of the limitations associated with the auditor's office caused by this board, or either the lack of our support or any action that this board took?
No, Judge. In fact, to the contrary. In order to facilitate the completion of the audit, the auditor's office had to go engage other parties to act as consultants and things of that nature. And it was never our experience that getting the people necessary, finding the people necessary, or even the cost associated with getting those people to come in and help, kind of hands on deck. The county was very cooperative in that respect. The issue was finding the people, right? And that was really the issue.
Judge, if I can make a comment, you talk about a perfect storm, the hottest market we've ever had, so people go and look for other jobs. And in the universities, they're not coming out wanting to be auditors. And so then also making adjustments where people could say, well, just pay people more, right? Well, at a county of 4,000 people, once you do that, you have to adjust a lot of people. And that becomes cumbersome for a long period of time. You're having to pay for, something that's happening in a relatively short time period. Hopefully this market lasts for a long time, right? But
No, for sure. During the audit process, and I don't know whether you had an opportunity to see it. I know I shared it with Valde in the group. In the spirit of maybe misery loves company, the Wall Street Journal had a whole article about accountants in the accounting profession, and spoke specifically as it relates to government entities, because their pay structure tends to be different than if you're doing public accounting type work, right? And how it was starting to become a common thing, unfortunately, that public entities were being late on their audit reports. By no one's fault per se, other than just the lack of people. And you mentioned pay, Commissioner. you can offer to pay as much as you want, but if there's nobody there to pay it to, right, then that even makes it more challenging.
That's why I mentioned the university. I mean, it's not like that they're coming out and we're not hiring them. They're just not available.
No, and again, there are other entities within the Rio Grande Valley that unfortunately are having a similar type experience that you all had, and that's just the reality of the profession itself. And I could speak all day about that, but it has been a challenge. And Judge, to your question again, the county was doing all it could to get the audit out, and certainly appreciated that. No different than we did all we could to get the audit out. Certainly, we don't do it in a vacuum, and so ultimately, we got to the finish line, and here we are.
I have a couple more questions.
Sure, Judge.
Number one, are your findings sufficient enough to be able to give an opinion that the county acted legally in all respects of the operation of this?
Yes,
was
Judge.
that here?
Yeah, so in terms,
Just a yes or no?
well,
No.
you use the word legally, and so
Okay, go ahead.
so putting that word off to the side, our findings were such that there are areas of improvement, right, related to reporting and things of that nature, but nothing that was a finding that related, say, to a question cost, because that's usually what people get excited about. Oh, question cost, I got to pay it back, and that's not the case in this case.
Okay. We also mandated to have a budget, and that we adhere to what was budgeted in the performance of that year's activities.
I'm sorry, Judge, can you ask the question again?
Did we comply with our budget regulations of how to use the funds and where to use the funds?
Yes, Judge. And so part of our procedures is to ensure that you are complying with, say, statutes related to just the creation and administration of the budget, as well as we also test with respect to any amendments and things of that nature. In fact, the audit report will include a schedule between the original budget. It will describe how the budget process occurs, and it will also show the ending the ending budget. So the answer to your question is yes. And I know you want a yes or no, but it's a little harder for me.
No, it's just a matter of time. Then the next one is, did we comply with all the bond ordinances and the
Yes.
requirements that we had?
Yes.
Is there any other duty that we had that we did not comply with?
The timeliness of the audit, Judge, would be the one that I think y'all did the best you could. So that would be the one, because there are certain federal requirements that require the audit to have been completed by certain dates, and those dates were surpassed.
Okay, thank you very much for your service.
Thank
Real,
you, Judge.
real quick, Judge, I just want to kind of wrap that up in a bow. It's an unqualified opinion.
It
correct?
is unqualified,
Which,
at the
which
end of the day,
means to the normal person means what?
it means a clean opinion.
Which means our financial statements
Are
represent fairly.
Are fairly presented in all material respects.
Okay. And then the findings itself, you already mentioned, weren't necessarily things that we can improve upon is really what I believe you said, which most agencies, most audits have some findings in them where we could find a pathway to try to do things a little bit better.
Yes, in fact, if you ever get the opportunity, in the back of the report are management's action plans to resolve the findings, and certainly we will look at those this year as a practical matter, just because it was this year. One is, they really haven't a whole lot of time to put it back together, right? But their action plans are included in the back of the report, because it is the spirit of the county to get those things resolved.
And by the way, I read all the audit report.
It is 451 pages, in case somebody wants to.
If you believe that, I have a bridge in Brooklyn I want to
Brought it with me.
Judge, Commissioners, if I may, just real briefly, I did want to add that Mr. Longoria and his team went over and above and beyond with respect to their professionalism in addressing our situation. I know that they experienced that with other entities, but that did not deter, or that didn't detract them from being diligent in their duty to us, the client, and it was week in, week out, and Mr. Longoria, outside of those meetings, would call me and keep me up to speed with respect to where we were at, so that everybody was aware on a real-time basis. And at the end of the day, as Mr. Longoria said, the county did everything it needed to do in order, at the end of the day, to get the audit completed and done. Though, Unfortunately, because of circumstances beyond our control, there were dates that were missed, but again, I just wanted to share that with the court.
Thank you, Valda, that's sincerely appreciated.
Is there any other questions? Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Judge.
We're also going to move to item 8E, 1 and 2, so we can.
Judge, Commissioners, David Earl for Rhodes Enterprises and Rhodes Development. I'm here today to give you briefings on 2 reinvestment zones. The first is the City of McAllen Reinvestment Zone, and we have a slide presentation. I don't know if your IT can key it up, but if not, I'll just tell you that the reinvestment zone for the City of McAllen, the Tres Lagos Reinvestment Zone, is doing very, very well. I'm pleased to tell you that it's outperforming its projections by over $18 million. It continues to be, and that's on the tax rolls, it continues to be ahead of schedule. We have some real good news from the state of Texas. They're going to start the Ware Road Realignment Project next year. It should be completed the year following, they believe, and that'll help us really boost the tax base with regard to the buildup of ad valorem taxes from the commercial centers that are planned at the intersection of Monte Cristo and Ware. In addition, the development has opened up the shops at Tres Lagos, which is adding tax base as well as sales tax to the equation, and it's doing extremely well. A&M, as you know, is growing and expanding, and Idea Public Schools in full enrollment there, as well as feeding into the university system. So I'm pleased to tell you that the TURD is doing quite well. Its projections are being exceeded, so it's very successful, and it continues to be the #1 housing project in the valley with regard to building permits being issued. So we're very grateful for the county's participation, and I'm very glad to be able to give you this report. There we go, the annual update. So I'll just go through this quickly. I'd like to show you some of these pictures. If you go to the next slide. The interlocal agreement between the county, the TURS, and the city requires this annual update, as well as the statutory requirement. Go on to the next slide, please. So this shows you what Tres Lagos looked like in 2021, and this is the 2022 update. So you can see in the forefront of this picture the vacant land, for example, to the right of the main entry road. You go to the next slide. And the next slide, you see that whole area has now been filled in with the shops at Tres Lagos being developed. That development is now complete, is being leased out very successfully, and is adding not only tax base to the county, but also amenities for your citizens and taxpayers. Next slide. Again, this is the area showing the shops embedded in the lakes. And the really neat thing about the vision the county had in participating in this project is it's come to reality exactly like it looked on paper. You know, when we first saw this project, it was so beautifully shaped and everything, and this actually has come to be exactly what was planned on paper. So they've done an excellent job sticking to the plan. Next slide. The shops at Tres Lagos, like I say, this is the phase 1 of the shops. There'll be a phase 2, and then further phases of commercial. Next slide. We're going to be moving also beyond that, past the A&M system into multifamily development now. Next slide. Go ahead, and this shows you more of the shop's elevations. I don't know if you've been by there recently, but it really has turned out nice. Again, you see the Covey literature design that's being complied with as required by the development plan and development agreement, interlocal agreement with the county. Next slide. Go ahead and do the next one. The North Park is being maintained very well. There's been a lot of engagement with the neighborhood association, as well as the TURS board and PID board, working together cooperatively to make sure everybody's concerns are being met and addressed. And the park's being maintained extremely well by the PID and the TURS. Next slide. Shows you more of just an optimum view of some of the area. The larger homes are being built in the gated area. Next slide. The amphitheater's back in full swing now that the pandemic is over, and we're having events there again, and it's going very well. And go through the next slide. So is the community pool center. It's doing extremely well, being maintained very nicely. And I'm kind of going through this quickly. I know you have a big agenda. The farmers market's opening back up, and so that's being kicked into full gear. It's very successful. Has a lot of events there. The housings continue to be Class A housing, all masonry. A number of different products are being laid on the ground to give people a choice of housing from the entry level all the way up to $1 million plus homes in some of the nicer gated areas. Next slide. The new phase has started and is being built out. In fact, at this point, it's already pretty much built out with infrastructure and it's now being built out with homes. That's Cascada. And if you go to the next slide, there's also another new phase, Aquilina, which is being put into the ground and is building up vertically now. And that's been received very well by the purchasers and buyers of the community. A&M, as I said, is moving forward in this expansion. Everything's going well with enrollment there. It wouldn't have happened without the county's participation. And again, IDEA is doing extremely well, and that school is ranking very, very high in all of its reports across the board. The 2022, back when we did this in 2014, 2015, the 2022 projection for taxable assessed value, I projected at $236 million, almost $750 million as of this year. The next slide. And what we're seeing is we're actually way above that. The taxable values were, market value was 286, and the appraised market value in 2022 was 285 million. Next slide. Which means that there's an outperformance on assessed value of $18.2 million and an outperformance on market value of $50.4 million. So again, a very successful story here. One of the most successful in the state. There's been over 815 residential lots developed, 735 lots sold to date. 98 were sold as of the date of this report in 2022. That's now been exceeded. These numbers are a little bit dated. Like the gentleman that spoke earlier, this is kind of looking in the past a little bit, but you will receive another update at the end of this year for 2023. And as of the date of this report, in 2021, Tres Lagos garnered 15% of all new home permits in McAllen that were pulled. Total development cost to date is $81.4 million in all categories. And these are the breakdowns. You'll have these in your binders showing how that money is being spent, all in public infrastructure. And the status of the TERS board, the TERS budget, showing each category, what's been spent to date, what's remaining to be spent, and then the projection of when that will be done. Next slide. And that's the presentation on Tres Lagos. It's a very positive update. You have any questions on Tres Lagos before I move on to the next one? Now, the next one is on the city of Donna, TERS number 2, which is the Rio Bravo Donna Bridge Project, Alliance River Crossing. A little different story there because that whole project is centered around the successful completion and opening of the international bridge between Rio Bravo and Donna. As you all know, that project has been struggling to open. However, the city has made great strides recently. They need about $100 million in total funding to open the 2 northbound lanes. There are currently 2 southbound lanes operating on empties. But they just issued about $30 million in debt with 2 separate tax bond issuances through the economic development 4A, 4B taxes. And so that gave a big chunk of the funding that's needed. And they've begun building that 2 lanes northbound and have the permits to complete it. They also are getting about $8.9 million in a grant from TxDOT to put toward that, as well as $12.1 million funding from the U.S. Border Protection. And so that makes up a large part of the gap. There's still about $60 million roughly needed, and they're intending to go to revenue bonds for that to pay for that $60 million gap. They believe, in their financial analysis, have shown that the bridge revenue will more than pay the debt service on those bonds, and they're looking forward to getting those completely in place and implemented, and they're hoping to have the bridge opened within the next 18 to 24 months. And that's a conservative estimate. They're projecting faster than that, but I'm being cautious in my projection with y'all. So that project is doing as well as it can without that commercial driver of the bridge. It has had a positive increase in captured value of approximately $3 million. We'll be updating the finance plan once the bridge opens to recapture and reevaluate the picture financially and bring that back to you toward the end of this year as well, or early next year. Anybody have any questions on that TERS update?
Any questions?
I'm very grateful for the county's participation in these economic development projects. There are more coming in other cities, and I just want to compliment Hidalgo County on its vision and its proactiveness in doing economic development across the board. It's a fantastic what y'all are doing for your constituency here. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Ron. We're going to have to go to closed session to discuss some items, and we'll be back to open session. So under Chapter 551 of Texas Government Code, we'll be retiring to closed session to discuss items in Code Section 551.071, .072, .074, and .087. I have a motion to do so.
Motion made.
Second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. I have 10:36. We're back from a closed session. I have 12:49 p.m. You want to take the action items on
Yes, sir, Judge. closed
section?
Yes, sir, with your permission, Judge, Commissioners. And so under open session, item 23A, real estate acquisition appropriation for same, there's no specific action to be taken. 23B, pending and or potential, there's no action to be taken. 23C, discussion, consideration, possible action regarding response to public health emergency, no specific action to be taken, and there is an agenda item that I will address as we go on through the court session. Item 24D, discussion and approval of addendum to tax abatement agreement between Hidalgo County and Wonderful Citrus Packing LLC effective July 11, 2023, granting an 80% tax abatement in accordance with the agreement and tax abatement guidelines.
Motion to approve?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item 23E, cause number C5589-15-F, Hidalgo County versus Volkswagen Group of America, Inc., Audi of America, LLC, and Porsche Cars North America, Inc. Judge Commissioners, I'm asking for the court to entertain a motion in further settlement of this case by approving the acceptance and the execution of the resolution.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item 23F is consideration and authorization to, for the county judge or other authorized officials to execute settlement participation and release funds regarding new settlement offers from Walgreens, CVS, and Walmart in the matter of Texas opiate multi-district litigation for county in the matters of County of Hidalgo versus Purdue Pharma LP et al. MDL pretrial cause number 2018-C3587 in the 152nd District Court of Harris County.
Motion to approve?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries.
Item 23G, cause number C20-CB-00257, Catalina Zuniga Herrera et al. Versus Stephen Farias et al. Judge Commissioners, we will proceed as directed. Item 23H, EEOC charge number 451-2023-03081, K. Pineda versus County. Judge Commissioners, for the record, we are assigning this to Ms. Josephine Ramirez for to protect the county's interest. And if we could, for the record, have a vote.
So move.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
And item 23I, CL 19-5922-E, Rosario E. Orozco et al. Versus County of Hidalgo et al. Judge Commissioners, we will proceed as directed. Item 23J, claim of Vicenta Gonzalez. Judge Commissioners, for the record, we're assigning, I'd ask the court to take a motion or action to assign this to Ms. Josephine Ramirez's office.
So move.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item 23K, claim of Margarita Sanchez. Judge Commissioners, I'd like Settlement Authority to make an offer in the amount of $4,187.50.
So move.
Motion to, second?
Have a motion and second to approve. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Judge, I believe we would go back to item 8.
Hold on. Mike, are you here for any particular item? Because everybody's been, okay. So we're back to item 8A.
Thank you, Judge. Judge Commissioners, item 8A, 1, 2, and 3, there is no specific action to be taken and/or report. Item 8B has been acted upon, or the presentation has been done. Item 8C is presentation of on RGV MPO status of projects.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. As the representative for Hidalgo County on the RGV MPO, I asked our consultants to put together some information. During the last meeting, I made a more simplified presentation about the projects that each of the precincts within Hidalgo County has active through the RGV MPO. I asked them to further provide some additional information with respect to the total number of miles, total project costs, how much has been assigned through the MPO, through state and federal dollars, our local participation, meaning not just the money that we as the county and precinct commissioners have, but also partnering up with each of our communities on some of these projects, where we split some of these local investments. You can see that the county share of this presentation, and I believe I provided this presentation so that we could publish it up on the screens and also on our website. The county share, as you can see, is usually less than 25%. This just indicates that what we're doing here is using 25 cents on the dollar. We're investing a quarter, we're getting 75 cents from state and federal dollars to build and expand these roads to provide greater mobility. We also included the RGV MPO scheduled letting dates, which is what we have through the MPO when we did these projects, when we expect for them to go to construction. Letting just means that we're publishing that we're going out for bids and that we want to assign this to construction and move forward. But you'll also see that we have a column there that our target letting dates are usually, and I would say about 90% of the time, more aggressive than what the RGV MPO has assigned to us. And that's, again, our intent is to try to get these projects in the ground, put them into construction. We don't want to waste a lot of time in the development of it. We want to just kind of get in and out, do the environmental, assign monies to the acquisition of the additional properties that we need, and it does take time to go through that whole process. There's a legal requirement that the feds put out there for us that we have to follow. So we have to follow those. We have to get appraisals. We have to make offers, negotiate with the property owners, and compensate them accordingly for whatever we're taking away from them in order to provide these going from 2 lanes to 5 lanes with sidewalks and lighting and drainage, all the improvements that we make to better our communities, for better quality of life, for economic growth, because this also provides pathways for people to get to expanding our economy, residential developments, commercial developments. So all of this is incorporated into these monies that we are putting into our local participation. If you look down at the bottom of that particular column, you'll see that our local investment is roughly $100 million. And I just want to highlight that this is a culmination of years of work. It's not just something that we determined this year or last year that we wanted to put together. This is vision. This is building projects over the course of many years. And it takes time for us to develop these things. Even just from concept to letting is going to take anywhere from 4 to 6 years, reasonably speaking, by the time you do all the design work and layout of the roads, acquisition, getting the agreements with TxDOT, and being in compliance. So I just wanted to highlight that, again, I want to reiterate, a couple of commissioners weren't here last time. I'm extremely proud of the work that you guys are doing. I'm extremely proud of your partnerships with your communities and all the relationships that we have in being able to expand these roadways and provide alternative roads that we can use aside just from our expressway, but 5-lane roads with sidewalks, and just encourages people to use alternative roadways to get from one place to another. And we need to continue to do this as our communities grow, as the population in Hidalgo County grows. We continue to move this. And the reason that I brought this up, and I'm highlighting it, and we're going to have it available to the public, is because there have been some people saying that we're not moving fast enough and that we're not spending our money. And I know that that's a disservice to the effort that you guys are putting into developing these projects and getting them to construction. None of us want to hold these projects up. We continue to move them forward. We'll continue to push the MPO to fund these projects. There's a limited amount of money that we get on a yearly basis. There's a limited amount of money that's assigned to us. And yes, it's in the millions of dollars, multiple millions of dollars, but it's still not enough to really fund all of the projects. If you were to just do the math across, it doesn't add up. And that's because we do not have enough money assigned to these projects. Because as inflation goes, as the years passes by, the cost of construction and the cost of these improvements continue to grow with time. So for us, again, it makes sense for us to try to get these projects in the ground as quickly as possible, so that we don't lose the time value of money. But you can see that we're still short on our projects. And that's why we continue to advocate for all of these projects, because they're good projects. They show the growth in our communities, and they continue to be important to us. So I encourage you to look at this. Every single project that's listed here has a supporting page that gives you the status, who's responsible for getting these projects to construction. If it says TxDOT, that's a state road that we help participate in. They're not even our local county roads, they're state roads, but we're still actively participating in the development of them, in assisting them with either environmental, with drainage, with clearing the project for construction, acquisition of right-of-way. We're assisting the state in getting these projects to realization. So again, we don't have to do that, but it's important for us to continue to invest in any project that continues to provide these ability for us to move around more safely, more efficiently. Because the last thing we want to do is be sitting in a line of, a two-lane road that's 50 cars deep. But we want to do it in a smart way, in a way that makes sense. And when we leverage our dollars and we're spending less than 25 cents per dollar of local dollars, it's a good thing. It's a good project. So I want to thank you guys for each one of you developing projects that make sense and for continuing to move them forward. And I appreciate your efforts, not just in these MPO projects, but with our local dollars, that we're very limited in the amount of money that we get on a yearly basis to make road improvements. Sometimes it's through urban county monies, sometimes through COs and MPO dollars. And that's really it. So we're working with very limited funds. We continue to grow. So trying to keep up is important. But thank you guys for your time, for your efforts. And again, we'll provide this as public information so that people can see exactly where we stand on each of our projects. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Commissioner, I want to thank you for being vigilant. I really appreciate all your help. I'm very excited and happy. We received $6,440,000 with your leadership over there in the MPO, and $2,440,000 are crucial to one of our projects here in the city of Peñitas, which is a Liberty Road, because of the cost of materials. We're short like about close to $5 million. And, the city's struggling, and I'm trying to do everything that I can to help them. But those $2,440,000 came, it was a blessing. And another $4 million for the city of Mission for Los Ebanos Road that we're working together to improve that. So I really appreciate it. I'm very excited for what I'm doing here in my precinct, and thank you for your support, and just keep on being vigilant. I know that sometimes money comes available, and obviously we need it. I know that over $6 million sounds like a lot, but it really isn't because these projects take a lot of money, and we do have a lot of projects in Precinct 3 and in the other precincts. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Commissioner. Each mile costs about $6 to $7 million. So any sort of monies that we get, if it's in that ballpark, we know that we can do about a mile. Commissioner Cantu, you're happy to know that we got $4 million assigned to Nolana to start connecting us from the east to your side. So we're continuing to make efforts to bring in more monies. But I just wanted to give everybody a status update on where all these projects stand. And again, appreciate your investment. I know, Judge, we were talking about COs earlier. When we issue CO monies, this is where the majority of that money goes, to develop these projects. We don't have $100 million just sitting around. We fund a lot of these preliminary work as far as engineering and surveying, acquisition, and right-of-way from these COs. So a lot of times it looks like, well, you're getting all this money, you're getting $16, $20 million, what are you doing? Well, a lot of it is developing $676 million worth of improvements. And we're doing it at a much cheaper price than dollar for dollar. And that's why, for us, continuing to work with our certificates of obligation allows us to continue to invest in these projects.
Well, I also want to thank you, Commissioner, for making this presentation. It speaks for itself, all the different projects you have. And I always see the pain that all four of you go through every time we have great needs, and there's always more need than money, and I compliment you all for the efforts that you have, and this process speak for themselves, and when you add the drainage programs or whatever, the construction of the courthouse, and you add all those things together, anybody can come here and second guess the decisions that we make, but we have internal factors to deal with, but we also have external factors to deal with, and those external factors we can't control. So I appreciate you managing as best we can under those conditions.
Thank you.
Thank you, David.
Next item, Valde, you want to
Thank you, Commissioner.
take no action, the other two?
Yes. Item 8D, there's no, 8D 1 and 2, there is no action to be taken. Item 8E, the presentations have been made. Item 8F, there's approval of interlocal agreement for services by and between Hidalgo County and the Alliance of I-69 Texas for year 2022 and 2023, subject to final legal approval, and approval of to pay membership dues to the Rio Grande Valley Mobility Task Force, which is the RGB Partnership Alliance for I-69 in the amount of $8,620 for 2022 and $9,288 for 2023, with authority for county treasurer to issue check once auditing procedures are completed by our county auditor.
Motion to approve.
Second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion carries. We finally get to you, Constable.
Got it? Ready?
Yes, sir.
9A, Constable Precinct 4, a discussion, consideration, approval to appoint Jaime Ticano as Deputy Constable by myself, Constable Gaitan.
Motion to approve.
Precinct 4 in accordance with Texas Local Government Code Section 86.011.
Sorry, just motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, Constable.
Thank you,
Sheriff's
Judge.
Office.
Good afternoon, Judge, Commissioners.
Good afternoon.
Gabriel Castañeda on behalf of Hidalgo County Sheriff Eddie Guerra. I have 4 items before you. The first one's 3 parts. If you allow me, I'll take them all together.
Please.
Action item 91515. Number 1, approval of organized crime drug enforcement task forces, OCDEF Ice River agreement for fiscal year 2023 from 6/5/2023 to 6/5/2024 between the Hidalgo County Sheriff's Office and the Drug Enforcement Administration, McAllen District, OCDEF Strike Force, Group D81. Number 2, requesting authorization to pay overtime reimbursement under the grant terms and conditions. Number 3, approval of certification of revenue as certified by the county auditor for the fiscal year 2023 OCDEF Ice River Grant Agreement Award in the amount of $10,000 in reference to investigation number SWTXS 1207 and appropriation of same.
Motion to approve 10A 1, 2, and 3.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Action item 91472, approval of memorandum of understanding between South Texas College and Hidalgo County Sheriff's Office with the purpose of issuing continuing education certificates of completion and authorization of the Hidalgo County Sheriff to sign document.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Action item 91556, presentation of memorandum of understanding between the South Texas College and the Hidalgo County Sheriff's Office for use access of driver's skill pad and an emergency vehicle operations course with authority for county sheriffs as law enforcement officials to sign the memorandum of understanding.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
And action item 91558, number 1, approval of appended attachment to the MOU between the Hidalgo County Sheriff's Office and constitute agencies of the Texas Anti-Gang Tag Center, Rio Grande Valley, Texas, regarding equipment transfer MOU. And number 2, authority for county sheriff as law enforcement official to sign the appended attachment.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you very much. Human Resources, Erica Reina, next item.
Good afternoon, Judge and Commissioners. Katia Garcia for the Department of Human Resources.
Item 11A, we are requesting waiver of the following if applicable for personnel items listed. We need action on item number 3, budget amendment policy, personnel related amendments.
Motion to approve?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item 11B for the OCA grant, approval of the following action effective upon Commissioners Court approval. We need action for a title change to slot number 0001. The current title is magistrate and the proposed title is associate judge. For the record, this is a title correction. We recommend approval.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item 11C for the county treasurer, approval of the following personnel actions effective January 16th, 2023. We are requesting action to remove supplemental allowance for the positions as listed. We recommend approval.
Motion approved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item 11D, Veteran Services, approval of the following action effective upon Commissioners Court approval. We are requesting action to create slot number 0011, Clerk 2 at a grade 3. We recommend approval.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item 11E for the Health Department, ARPA, approval of the following actions effective next school pay period, July 17, 2023. We are requesting action to delete slot number 0002, Public Health Planner 2 at a grade 14, and to create slot 0004, Medical Technologist 2 at a grade 15. We recommend approval.
Motion to approve?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item 11F for the Health Department. Number 1, approval of the following action effective upon Commissioners Court approval. We're requesting a title change for the slots as listed. The current title is Advanced Clinical Practitioner. The proposed title is Nurse Practitioner Physician Assistant. And number 2, approval to revise the classified position list in accordance with the action above. This item has no fiscal impact. We recommend approval.
Motion to approve?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item 11G for the county clerk from the record archive account. Approval of the following action effective upon Commissioners Court approval. We are requesting action to create slot 0016 Supervisor 3 at a grade 13. We recommend approval.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item 11H for Precinct 2 from Road and Bridge. Approval of the following actions effective upon Commissioners Court approval. We're requesting action to create slot 0120 Mechanic 4 at a grade 12, slot 0121 Traffic Control Specialist 3 at a grade 7, and slot 0029 Program Manager 1 at a grade 13. We recommend approval.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item 11I for the 476th District Court, approval of the following actions effective upon Commissioners Court approval. We are requesting action to delete slot 0005 Bailiff 2 at a grade 13 and to create slot 0006 Bailiff 1 at a grade 11. We recommend approval.
Motion to approve?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you, Judge and
Thank you very
Commissioners.
much. Urban County, Steve?
Good afternoon, Judge, Commissioners. Steve De La Garza for Urban County. Item number 12A, subject to compliance with HB 1295, the Urban County program is requesting consideration and action to award and enter into a construction contract with RBM Contractors LLC, the lowest responsible bidder, in the amount of $545,091.31, utilizing UCP funds from fiscal years 32 through 35, Westaco Water and Sewer Improvement Funds.
Motion approved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. B12, subject to compliance with HB 1295, the Urban County program is requesting consideration and action to award and enter into a construction contract with Lynette Guerra and Sons Hauling LLC, the lowest responsible bidder, in the amount of $270,798,445, utilizing UCP funds from fiscal years 32 through 34, Progreso Street Improvement Funds.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. 12C, number
Mr.
1, requesting
De La Garza.
authorization to extend.
Mr.
Yes.
De La Garza, Judge, Commissioners, we do have a public participation form from Ms. Fern McClarity on item 12C.
Excuse me. I was checking, could you explain who will be receiving this? I looked up and it shows it's $2,341,120.51. Is this people that already live here? We have so many people that are 40% or under the poverty level, so we're just checking. Can you explain who is receiving this?
Yes, ma'am. So this grant is specifically for the homeless population and those populations that are at risk of homelessness. It's for rental assistance and utilities. All of them have to be at least 50% AMI and below. So that's the area median income. So it's a impoverished grant for like I say, the homeless and at risk of homeless.
That still doesn't help me. I guess
It's for Hidalgo County residents. I'm sorry, Ms. Fernandez.
Okay, that's what they wanted to know. Thank you.
You got it. 12C1, requesting authorization to extend the current Homeless Emergency Solutions Grant Program Coronavirus Subrecipient Memorandum of Understanding Agreement between Hidalgo County Community Service Agency and Hidalgo County Urban County Program.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Mr.
Thank
De La
you.
Garza.
Well,
Mr.
yes.
De La Garza, Judge, Commissioners, we do have a public participation form from Ms. Firma Clarion, item 12D.
Same question. They were
We're still on
asking, because
C2,
this is
aren't we?
talking about the McAllen Housing Authority. So we were just, I told them I would ask y'all if this is the same group of people, because it showed all the liaisons and everything, and I said, well, I don't know. So could you explain that one?
Yes. So the Housing Authority, McAllen Housing Authority, received a new grant. The monies go with them. They got some new vouchers. However, since it's a HUD-funded program, HUD required eligibility be determined through a reporting system that we utilize that the housing authorities don't. So all we're doing, this office is just is utilizing that reporting system to make sure that eligibility is met for the clients that McAllen Housing Authority is assisting with. So it's their clients, but we're in partnership with them, utilizing our reporting system.
Continue.
Okay, so I think I don't know that we finished C2.
We need a motion.
Action, right.
Right, so on 12C2, requesting approval of Hidalgo County Urban County Program Director to sign the amendment to the Memorandum of Understanding.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. 12D1, requesting approval of amendment of addendum number 1 to the Memorandum of Understanding between Hidalgo County Urban County Program, Texas Homeless Network, and the McAllen Housing Authority.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, Steve. Item 13A, Mr. Olivares.
Hold on, Judge.
12D2, approval for Hidalgo County Program Director to sign addendum number 1.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Sorry, I got ahead of you, Steve.
One more item, Judge.
No problem. 12E, consideration and approval of the 3-year cooperation agreements with each participating city for fiscal years 2024 through 2026, necessary for the requalification of Hidalgo County as an urban county for the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development Program.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you all.
Now you're ready, Mr. Olivares. I got ahead of myself.
Afternoon, Judge, Commissioners, Eddie Olivares, Hidalgo County Health. I only have one item very quickly, sir. Is request to ratify the approval of mileage reimbursement and the payout of extra hours related to the 4th of July No Refusal Weekend Project coordinated between Hidalgo County District Attorney's Office and Hidalgo County Sheriff's Office during the 4th of July weekend for the Health and Human Services Department staff at the rate of time and a half in addition to the employee's regular work hours and or leave taken. This was during Operation No Refusal, sir, and we're very proud. It's been the first year we're doing it on 4th of July, so with your approval, sir.
So moved. Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day.
14A, Mr. Longoria.
Good afternoon, Judge, Commissioners. Item 14A is a discussion, consideration, and possible action to accept the AmeriCorps Notice of Grant Award, contract number 23 SRG TX012 in the amount of $63,189 from the Corporation for National and Community Service for our retired senior volunteer program with authorization for Jaime Longoria to electronically sign any and all pertinent documents. Just for the record, Judge, Commissioners, this is a nine-month contract. The previous contract was 15 months, so the state is changing up the awards this way, and we're trying to compensate for that. So it's a 9-month grant award.
Motion to approve?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you, Judge. Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Commissioner Cantu.
Discussion, consideration, approval to waive the entrance fee for all visitors to the Precinct 2 Achilles Jaime Garza Park swimming pool effective immediately. The waiver of fees is authorized pursuant to Local Government Code 316.004 and is requested due to the continued economic impact of the public health emergency and the ongoing county local disaster declarations. Motion approved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
B, requesting authorization and approval to name a public road on the south side of Vecina Road and west of South Veterans Boulevard as Levy Avenue for 9/11 purposes as recommended by the LRGVDC 911 Department. Motion approved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Commissioner Villarreal.
16A, requesting approval of an interlocal cooperation agreement between the County of Hidalgo and the City of La Joya regarding road improvements for the 11.5 Street between South Leo Avenue and Perales Martinez Street. Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
16A2, in accordance with Section 791.014 of the Texas Government Code, requesting approval for the interlocal cooperation agreement project regarding 11.5 Street. Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Commissioner Torres.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Belinda Reyes with Precinct 4. Item 17A, requesting approval resolution in support of Mexico paying their water debt to the United States of America as per the 1944 treaty. Resolution supporting the Rural Rio Grande Valley Development Council's regional water planting group's request for Mexico to comply with the terms of the 1944 treaty and release the water due to the United States of America. Whereas the Rio Grande is the only source of fresh water for the Rio Grande Valley of Texas, and whereas the Rio Grande flows are greatly dependent on inflows from Mexico tributaries that flow into the Rio Grande above Amistad and Falcon reservoirs, and whereas the 1944 treaty between the United States and Mexico allots to the United States 1/3 of the tributary inflow from 6 named tributaries that flow into the Rio Grande above the international reservoirs, and this 1/3 shall not be less than 350,000 acre feet as an annual average over a cycle of 5 consecutive years. And whereas the only exception to the annual delivery of this water is if Mexico is experiencing extraordinary drought or has experienced serious accident to the hydraulic systems of the 6 named tributaries, and whereas Mexico has accumulated over 2.9 million acre feet of water in the reservoirs on the 6 named tributaries since August 2022, and is indication that Mexico is not in an extraordinary drought, and there have been no reports of any accidents to their hydraulic systems. And whereas the current 5-year treaty delivery cycle commenced October 25th, 2020, and Mexico is behind in their deliveries to the United States by over 550,000 acre feet of water. And whereas the United States ownership of water in the Amistad Falcon Reservoir system is already less than 1 year's supply of water, and whereas Mexico has sufficient water in storage in the tributaries that the United States is entitled to receive water from and could release this water as called for by the 1944 treaty. Now, therefore, it be resolved that the Hidalgo County Commissioners Court supports the Lower Rio Grande Development Council's Regional Water Planning Group's findings and facts and urges Mexico to comply with the terms of the 1944 treaty and release the water due to the United States of America.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item 18A, Tao.
Judge, Commissioners, item 18A for this morning, or for this afternoon, there will be no action. Item 18B, Mr. Soto.
18B, TxDOT Precinct 1, Mile 1 East, authorization to submit the economically disadvantaged county program application and affidavit for the Mile 1 East Business 83 to Mile 8 North project, CSJ number 0921-02-254, with authority for the county judge to sign all required documentation. Recommendation to approve.
Second.
All in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries.
Okay. American Rescue Plan Act, C1, discussion, consideration, and action to approve the following ARPA projects as per Exhibit A.
Motion to approve.
Second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries.
Budget appropriations, D1, Precinct 4, admin, approval of 2023 appropriation of funds in the amount of $85,000 from the Road and Bridge unassigned fund balance for Precinct 4 admin to fund operating expenditures.
Motion to approve.
Second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
D2, District Attorney Federal Sharing Treasury Fund 1252, approval of 2023 unappropriation of funds from Fund 1252 in the amount of $29,197.56 due to correction posted by Auditor's Office.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mr. Amascuda, Purchasing.
Judge,
Good
Commissioners.
afternoon. Good afternoon, George, Commissioner.
Mr. Amezcua.
Ignacio Amezcua from the Purchasing Department.
Mr. Amezcua.
Yes, can you
If I-
hear me?
Mr. Amezcua, if I may, please. Judge, Commissioners, I do apologize. Item 18C1, there was a question and a public participation form from Ms. Fern McClarity with respect to the American Rescue Plan Act.
Yes, I was wondering, because y'all, it's kind of confusing and hard to see which item you're on. Can you explain, because it shows on the backup, Hidalgo County Technology, 500,000, assistance for Hidalgo County Ambulance Response Service, 2,500,000, Hidalgo County Public Facilities Survey and Maintenance of 250,000. I believe you add that up as 3,250,000. Can you explain to the public what this is and why we're paying over $3 million? Just explain it, because y'all always vote for things so easy, but you don't ever explain what it is.
Mr. Soto?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes, on item in question, refer to 3 ARPA projects. The first one was under the heading project name of Hidalgo County Technology Modernization. This is for countywide softwares, automation softwares for the year, which is $500,000 operating expense. The second one was for the Hidalgo County Ambulance Response Services. I believe we have a contract to the end of November of 2024, and the amount of 2.5 is to cover the monthly amount between now and the end of the contract.
Okay.
So that will be already appropriated. And the last was Hidalgo County Public Facility Survey and Maintenance Services. This was for $250,000. It was a survey across all county facilities for a American Disability Act compliance of all public facilities.
Thank you, Mr. Soto. Judge?
Okay, we're back to 19A.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Judge, Commissioners. Mr. Guerra, for the record, Ignacio Amezcua from the Purchasing Department. 19.8 for Hidalgo County. 1, discussion, consideration, and action on the final report provided by B2C Engineering regarding the Hidalgo County Animal Control Center project.
Judge, Commissioners, we do have a public participation form from Ms. Fern McClarity on item 19A1.
Yes, we did look it up, and one, I kind of described what this is. One is a building of 8,000 square feet. I believe that one is like 2,948,500, and then you have one for 18,000 square feet, I think, and that was 5,513,000. $5,513,500. Can you explain what we're looking at and how much are we, the county, paying the Humane Society as it is? Are y'all looking to see which is the best? Because y'all are looking at animals, and I love animals. I love little puppies, little kittens, but I worry more about the people that live in Hidalgo County, and their property values have gone up so much, they can't even afford, at least Edinburgh, the school supplies. So can you explain this a little more as to how much we're already paying and what's our best deal?
So, yes, ma'am. So right now, the action item before the court is to accept the report, and that's all the court's going to do is just accept the report. Okay. Number two, with respect to the Animal Humane Society, we do have a contract with the Animal Humane Society. That contract is, if I recall correctly, is a million. I believe it's $1,050,000 or $1,100,000, but I will get you that exact
Okay.
number. But it is a little over $1 million.
Okay.
And two, the issue at hand is what I refer to as the unwanted pet population. Unfortunately, we do have individuals that, by way of pet responsibility, is not where it should be at, and that responsibility then falls by way of the governing body having to address those pets or those canines, as well as the felines that are out there roaming and creating a nuisance by way of getting into people's yards, their garbage, and over and above that, under the Health and Safety Code, we do have the responsibility by way of the Rabies Control Act.
Okay, would we also be helping and letting cities, because I know the cities pay, like Edinburgh, we pay them also. Will the county be doing anything with the other cities that they might be able to save money with the county instead of what they're paying over there? That's what they asked.
I cannot speak for the cities, but in general, the cities address their situation or their issues, and we address our issues. But there is collaboration amongst all the entities in addressing a countywide issue.
Okay, thank you.
So I do not believe that there's been action to accept the report.
Motion to accept.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
2, requesting approval supplemental agreement number 3 between Hidalgo County and SAMES for professional engineering services on the construction of Hidalgo County Health Department testing biosafety lab project to extend the termination date of the agreement.
So move.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
3, requesting approval of amendment number 1 for extension of contract with Godfeldy and Associates for broadband access study and expansion plan consulting service to commence July 1st, 2023 through September 30, 2023, and no additional cost to the county.
So moved.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
4A, presentation of scoring grid for the purpose of ranking by Hidalgo County Commissioner score of vendor submission with the recommendation by the evaluation committee members for psychological evaluation service for all law enforcement agencies. Do you wish to rank in the order of their score?
Yes.
So
Motion
moved.
to approve.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
B, requesting authority for the purchasing department to proceed and commence negotiation with the number 1 ramp provider, Gregorio Piña, for the psychological evaluation service for all law enforcement agencies.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
19B, for Executive Office. 1, acceptance and approval supplemental agreement number 3 to work authorization number 1 as submitted by project engineer LNG Engineering to update the Rio Grande Valley Metropolitan Planning Organization and on all CAT 7 project readiness sheet and update Unified Transportation Program CAT 7 project evaluation forms.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
19C, for Precinct 1, requesting approval of supplemental agreement number 1 between Hidalgo County and LNG Engineering for professional engineering services for the Mile 6 project to extend the termination date of the agreement.
So move.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
2, requesting approval of supplemental agreement number 1 between Hidalgo County and LNG Engineering for professional engineering services for the FM 1015 project to extend the termination date of the agreement.
So move.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
3, requesting approval of supplemental agreement number 1 between Hidalgo County and Supreme Engineering for the Hidalgo County Precinct 1 inline check valves stormwater project to extend the termination date of the agreement.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
19D for Precinct 2, 1A, pursuant to Texas Local Government Code, Chapter Section 263.1512BCB and 263.152A2, action to declare 1 2009 Peterbilt water truck, 1 2009 Holland Bajo, and 1 2012 T-Rex Bajo as a surplus for the purpose of disposition of the 3 units for use as trade-ins toward the acquisition of 1 wheel loader, including the removal of said asset from the inventory list once transaction is completed.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
B, approval to purchase 2022 CAT 930M wheel loader through the county's membership participation with Purchasing Cooperative of America under contract number PCA OD 32820 from Big D Tractor in the amount of $269,000.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
2A, requesting a section from competitive bidding requirements on the Texas Local Government Code, Section 262.024A4 for professional services.
So
Motion to
moved.
approve.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
B, presentation of the scoring grid for the purpose of ranking by Hidalgo County Commissioner score the frame graded and evaluated through the county's approved pool of professional service for on-call professional engineering service for project located within precinct number 2. Do you wish to rank in the order of their score?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
C, requesting authority for the Hidalgo County Purchasing Department to negotiate a professional engineering service agreement commencing with the number 1 ranked firm, Quintanilla, Kelly and Associates, for the provision of on-call engineering services for project within the precinct number 2.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
3, requesting approval to purchase 8 high water warning systems through the county's membership with Texas Smart Buy from vendor traffic and parking control in the amount of $52,946.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
4, approval to purchase 2020 CAT CS56B smooth drum compactor with pad foot attachment through the county's membership with Purchasing Cooperative of America from vendor Big D3 Tractor in the amount of $197,000.
So moved.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
19E for Precinct 4, 1A, requesting approval of supplemental agreement number 1 between Hidalgo County and GDJ Engineering for civil engineering services for the Rosal Road reconstruction of mile 17.5 from Mount Mac Road to Root Road to extend the termination date of the agreement to July 11, 2024.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
B, requesting approval of work authorization number 2 with an estimated cost of $608,038 as submitted by GDJ Engineering through professional engineering service agreement to provide design service for Russell Road from Ware Road to Root Road.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
C, pursuant to Article 15 of the Professional Service Agreement with GDJ Engineering, requesting authority to engage subcontractors Texi Infrastructure Group and Kane Litzy.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
2, requesting acceptance and approval of change order number 4 from RG Enterprises DBA G&G Contractors for the construction of Hidalgo County Precinct number 4 All-Star Park Project to include additional services in the amount of $124,506 and a 76-day time extension are recommended by project architect, the Warren Group Architects.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
We are requesting approval to award job order contract Reno Works through Hidalgo County membership with TIPS for the Alfonso Flores All-Star Park flag wall in the amount of $69,214 and to issue a notice to proceed upon receipt of the required payment bond with authority for the county judge to sign or require documentation.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
4, requesting approval to purchase 2 John Deere 6105E cab tractors with additional attachment through the county's membership with Bible Cooperative, award vendor TELUS Equipment Solution in the total amount of $349,440 with 36 cents.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
5A, requesting exemption from competitive bidding requirements on the Texas Local Government Code 262.024A48 professional service.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
B, presentation of scoring grid for the purpose of ranking by Hidalgo County Commissioner score of firms graded through the county's pool of pre-qualified professional services for the construction material testing services, Benson Stormwater Project located within precinct number 4. Do you wish to rank in the order of their score?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
C, requesting authority for Hidalgo County Purchasing Department to negotiate a professional construction material testing service agreement commencing with the number 1 ranked firm, B2C Engineering, for the construction material testing service, Benson Road Stormwater Project located within precinct number 4.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
6A, requesting a section from competitive bidding requirements on the Texas Local Government Code 262.024A48 professional service.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
B, presentation of recurring grade for the purpose of ranking by Hidalgo County Commissioner score of firms graded through the county's pool of pre-qualified professional service for construction material testing service, Mile 17 Road Stormwater Project, located within precinct number 4. Do you wish to rank in the order of their score?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
C, requesting authority for the Hidalgo County Purchasing Department to negotiate a professional construction material testing service agreement commencing with the number 1 ranked Millennium Engineering Group for the construction material testing service, Mile 17 Road Stormwater Project, located within precinct number 4.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
7A, requesting a section from competitive bidding requirements under Texas Local Government Code 262.024A48 professional service.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
B, presentation of scoring grid for the purpose of ranking by Hidalgo County Commissioner score of firms graded through the county's pool of pre-qualified professional service for the construction material testing service, North Main Drain 3 Phase 1 Stormwater Project located within precinct number 4. Do you wish to rank in the order of their score?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
D, requesting authority for Hidalgo County Purchasing Department to negotiate a professional construction material testing service agreement commencing with the number 1 ranked firm, Terracon Consultants, for the construction material testing service, North Main Drain 3 Phase 1 Stormwater Project located within precinct number 4.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
8A, requesting a section from competitive bidding requirements on the Texas Local Government Code 262.024A48 professional service.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
B, presentation of scoring grid for the purpose of ranking by Hidalgo County Commissioner score of firms graded through the county's pool of pre-qualified professional service for the construction material testing service, North Main Drain 3 Phase 2 Stormwater Project located within precinct number 4. Do you wish to rank in the order of the score?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
C, requesting authority for Hidalgo County Purchasing Department to negotiate a professional construction material testing service agreement commencing with the number 1 ranked firm, Rava Kisner, for the construction material testing service, North Main Drain 3 Phase 2 Stormwater Project located within precinct number 4.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
19F for Health and Human Service Department, 1A, clarification and approval of notice sent by Hidalgo County Purchasing Agent on February 21st, 2023, exercising the 1-year extension on contract C-19-033-0423 for funeral and burial services for qualified indigent families, and action rescinding the 60-day grace period extension approved on April 18, 2023.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
B, requesting authority to reject all bills received on May 19, 2023 for funeral and burial services for Hidalgo County qualified indigent families.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
2, requesting approval of work authorization number 2 within an estimated cost of $13,900 as submitted by RO Engineering through Professional Engineering Service Agreement to provide service required for the ELSA Health Clinic Generation relocation.
So move.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
19G for Facilities Management. 1, requesting approval to award job order contract to HERCON through Hidalgo County membership with Bybor for the Homer Salinas Regional Center repairs project in the amount of $53,289.14, with authority to issue notice to proceed upon receipt of the required payment bond.
So move.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Motion carries.
2, requesting approval to award job order contract to HERCON through Hidalgo County membership with Bybor for the Hatberry parking lot overlay project in the amount of $216,786.54, with authority to issue notice to proceed upon receipt of the required payment and performance bonds.
So move. Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
3, requesting approval to award job order contract to HERCON through Hidalgo County membership with Bybor for the repairs and seal coating of the Administration 2 parking lot project in the amount of $102,646.01, with the authority to issue a notice to proceed upon receipt of the required payment and performance bonds.
So move.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
19H for Chair's Office. 1A, requesting exemption from competitive bidding requirement pursuant to Texas Local Government Code 262.024A7A for an item that can only be obtained from only one source because of the existence of a patent.
So move.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
The acceptance and approval of the sole source declaration for service Wind Organic Solution for the purpose of a SWA 600 Enolite generator to include but not limited to all components, installation, delivery, training, and an annual maintenance agreement for the purpose of disinfection of the detention center, with authority for the county judge and/or county sheriff to sign all required documentation.
So move.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
2, requesting approval to purchase kitchen appliances for the new Hidalgo County jail facility located at 1600 South Boulevard Drive, Raymondville, Texas, through Bybor, award vendor Jean's Restaurant Supply in the total amount of $174,572.91, with authority for Hidalgo County Sheriff to sign any on all requirement documentation.
Motion to approve? Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
3, requesting acceptance and approval of the certificate of construction completion for Hidalgo County Sheriff's Office Turing Range Improvement Project, as submitted by contractor Noble Texas Builder, with authority for the county judge or the county sheriff to sign all requirement documentation.
Motion approved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
19I for juvenile probation. 1A, requesting authority to cease negotiation with the highest participating vendor wellness center approved by Commissioner's Court on May 16, 2023, due to budgetary constraints.
So move.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
B, authority for the purchasing department to negotiate an agreement with the second highest ranking participating vendor, Reset Counseling Center for the Juvenile Drug Court Program.
So move.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
19J for District Attorney. 1, requesting approval to receive action for following agenda items regarding the SIM service agreement in connection with the purchase of the Lorus X-ray machine for the Forensic Center due to the delay installation that postponed the effective date of the service agreement to commence on April 1st, 2023. Action item 81-927 approved by Commissioner's Court on August 10, 2021, first extension, and action item 86-681 approved by Commissioner's Court on August 9, 2022, second year, 1 year extension.
So move.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
19K for County-wide. 1A, requesting authority to ratify purchase order number A65604 dated June 14, 2023, issued to secure 23 leased vehicles through the county membership with Bible Purchasing Cooperative awarded vendor D&M Leasing Company.
Judge, Commissioners, we do have a public participation form from Ms. Fern McClarty on 19K1.
Yes, our question is, we're looking at, again, leasing vehicles. Who are these leasing for? And we're looking at One of them says a total of 60 months payment is $48,999.60, plus the total interest of $1,362.85. And then the second one, it says 60 months payment, it'd be $52,396.20, with the total interest of $1,514.45. And what really got the question was on the page, it says residual value. It says, an example, a car worth $30,000 that is leased for 3 years can have a residual value of $16,000 when the lease ends. What are we talking about the residual amount for these vehicles when the county will have nothing? So can someone answer that?
Mr. Amesco, these vehicles are for which departments?
These vehicles is county-wise, Mr. Guerra. We have it for precinct, for department, it's a multiple delivery for county-wise departments and precincts.
All right, and as far as the residual or the question by way of residual, Ms. Fern, I'll have to get back with you and consult
Well,
with PBM. Judge?
These are leased vehicles?
Yes.
You lease a whole vehicle and they're telling you that they'll accept it back in the value of 16,000 or whatever the value is at the end.
Well, that was on the sample in your backup. That was
Well,
just a sample.
The residual value is, if you want to buy it, you can buy it for that amount, you can turn it back in for that amount.
And, well, the people were just wondering, I know that we have car allowances and things, and they asked and questioned about, well, we pay so much car allowances, now we're leasing vehicles. Where does this help with the car allowances, or is this just more vehicles for employees?
Individuals that get a car allowance do not operate county vehicles, leased
Okay.
or otherwise.
Okay, but what they were asking, since he said it's countywide, are any of these vehicles are for those departments, I guess?
They would be for individuals that, again, that do not receive a car stipend, and it would be for official county business by way of whatever the business is or the task is for the department countywide, and it could be any department countywide.
Okay, so we're just giving leasing cars to anyone and everyone?
No, ma'am.
Okay,
That's
that
not what
was
I
their
said.
question.
Okay, that's not what I said. It is for business being conducted by Hidalgo County.
I'll tell them.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Judge, Commissioners, I do not believe that there's been action
Motion to
taken.
approve.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Be requesting approval to enter into the 23 lease agreement for a term of 16 months within our vendor D&M leasing company through Hidalgo County membership with Bible for a total estimated monthly lease payment of $21,222.63, with authority for the county judge or county executive officer to sign any requirement documentation. These 23 vehicles are being in a replacement of the program of, we currently have 56 vehicles that have more than 5 years. So from those 56, 23 are going to be replaced. And we're still looking for replace the rest of the vehicles that have more than 5 years already leasing.
Thank you.
We are not adding, it's for the current program that we have in place.
Thank you.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Judge, Commissioners, if I may, there is no action or specific action or update or report for 20A1, 20B, and 20C. We have gone to closed sessions. We have taken action item or action on all the open session items. For the record, item 22A, there is no action to be taken. Item 22B, there is no action to be taken. Item 24, no need to go back to close, no action. Item 25, there would be no action as well. Judge, Commissioners, before adjournment, our next Commissioners Court is scheduled for July 25th, and that will be an afternoon meeting. 1:30 Drainage District, 2 p.m. Commissioners Court.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor, say aye. 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 Motion carries.
Thank you, Judge, Commissioners.